Welcome to the Creator Show. Now let's get into it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Creator Show. I am Half Pint the Creator, and it seems like it's been a minute since I've had a guest. But like I said, welcome to those who have been here. Welcome to the Creator Show. Serving you honest conversation, giving you honest conversation, served with humor and energy. So today I have a guest, and I don't know if anybody like recognizes. I always have a story with my guest. So I don't know if you remember, we were at the. I don't want to get her the event she had wrong. It was the I think it was the winter. I was in Houston,
With Kim.
and mhm,
Yeah.
and I was taking a video. We did not get to talk, but the way you just like greeted me, even though we didn't chat much, it was the way it was your aura and the way you had greeted me. Because most, like we say, most women they look at you like, but you didn't even know me, and you didn't even do. And then I saw you on morning time, morning tea
Uh-huh.
radio.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, she looked familiar, and not remembering you were the
Wait,
same woman from the event. And I was
yeah.
like, okay. And then of course, like I reached out to you and told you, your whole story was inspiring. We got into just, grief or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
before I gotta do you right. So today's guest is I call her Miss Michelle. That's just how being raised in the South, that's just how
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
raised. We have Miss Michelle D. Saxton. She is a multifaceted entrepreneur. She is a Amazon, keyword Amazon, best-selling author. She's an advocate for grief recovery, which we will get into that.
Mhm.
She, she also I thought this was a unique service. She also is the founder of Mia Savvy Courier Service, which I thought that was definitely we're definitely going to talk about that. And then she also has her own show called the what the Now What Show with Mia.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, give it up for Miss Michelle D. Saxton. How are
Hello,
you today?
my baby. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. You mentioned not knowing you at all. And when I feel genuineness, even from conversations, people always say it takes them 3 or 4 months to get to know somebody. But
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe in the minutes of 15 minutes, you
Mm-hmm.
can feel where a person genuine space is. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we
Yeah.
come with representatives, of course, because we want to put on the facade that, hey, I'm this person. But when I saw you and how you was taking your craft of taking pictures seriously,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I said that baby is onto something. She's doing something great. And you just wasn't. You were getting the angles. You was finding, and so to me, when I saw that, that made me pour into you. Not maybe not in words, but wanting to know who you were even more, because I was saying you could be doing anything, and then plus you had traveled all that way to be here. So I'm saying that's dedication within itself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was quite fond of you, just even meeting you in that space.
Yeah, that like I said, I like it just amazed me because like I always it was like you said. Let me go back. Like you said, it was definitely like your aura.
Hmm.
You can definitely tell like when somebody you have that discernment.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And these days and times, I really feel that it's important for us because we always want somebody to feel or be their great selves and have hope and have intentions for someone to do all the things and bringing them along and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe in days and times, you just have to be. Um, in your psyche what is good for you and know when somebody is shooting you the fluff, in other words, you know what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so let's get. I like this is a favorite game of
Okay.
everybody. We're gonna play this and that.
Okay.
So it's this or that, no in between, because a lot of people be wanting to be in between. So I'm gonna have to cut it short, and we just this or that. So oh, not to mention, I forgot to. I don't know where I forgot. Not only is she an entrepreneur, but she was, correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Plus Size America.
Miss
Correct.
Texas. Miss
Miss
Texas
Texas. Okay,
plus
I
America
read that wrong.
22. Yes, ma'am.
I should have had
Yes,
my
ma'am.
glasses on instead of these eyelashes. But
Yeah, I understand. You see mine blinking over here. Yeah, that was quite an experience, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of that. It was like I entered it on a whim because my daughter said, "Guess what I did? I
Mhm.
signed you up for
I
Miss
remember
Texas."
you said that on the morning tea.
Yeah, and I'm like, "What?" And so going through that at the age of 53 years old, people put numbers on when to start or when something should be accomplished, but that was one of my most accomplishments, heartfelt
Mhm.
accomplishment that I was able to carry out. And it wasn't just about floating around on stage in these big ball gowns. It taught you discipline. It taught you how to carry yourself even at that age of being 53 at that time for me, to now how to enter rooms and with
Mhm.
poise and holding your head up high. You may feel like I'm going in a room with a room full of millionaires and I don't even have a million pennies in
Mhm.
my bank account. Well,
Mhm.
that teaches you you don't have to look like what your circumstance is. You
Mhm.
still go in
Definitely.
there, right? And you
Mhm.
walk with your head in reassurance that I may not be here right now, but God has something for me and I will be here one day. So it taught me a lot of things and it also opened up a lot of doors for me. So that was quite an experience.
I definitely believe it. So, with that being said, runway or photo shoot?
Runway,
um, coffee meetings or Zoom?
coffee meeting,
um, big city fashion week or small local boutique events?
big, no, let me, the second one, the small events.
The small events.
And I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we in this world want to just go straight to the top
Mm-hmm.
without experiencing who you may have to gradually get to the top with, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're saying a boutique, they may be very well a little boutique to now an established one. But from even if they're just starting out, for me, you're being part of that to grow to one day being at New York Fashion Week or whatever. So for me, I've learned to now take the baby steps. If sure somebody say, "Hey, come on, be a part of New York Fashion Week," I would go now because I put in the work. I feel that I
Mm-hmm.
put in the work, right? But I never knock small nothing because that's where our beginnings begin, right? So I would say for me personally, I want to shine with the next person that's coming along to let them know, hey. You're just starting out. But guess what? I have compassion and the willingness to know and know the difference. Look, I can be in small rooms or I could be in big rooms, and whichever room I'm in, you gonna get the same me.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like you said, like now it's like so in the industry, it's like so performative. Like you feel like
absolutely.
you have whatever industry you in, you have to like dumb yourself down and it's just like you don't have to perform because how can I put this? You don't have to perform. You don't have to be
Right.
so performative because that's
Right.
what everybody else
Is
is doing.
expecting. Yeah, absolutely, baby. Absolutely.
Okay, next, social media marketing or word of mouth.
Because I'm just now learning how to incorporate social media, I'm still gonna go with word of mouth. Even though social media, you'll get more of an influence and probably reach more masses, but I prefer also a word of mouth. And I know you said I can't go in between, so I'm gonna say word of mouth. I'm gonna go ahead and say word of mouth because that's where what has gotten me where I am today.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, so like I said, so my first the subtopic is let's talk about it. So I don't know if you've been on TikTok. I know I don't like saying older people,
Oh,
but I want to do two. Let's talk about it.
okay.
So I know some older people are not used to TikTok, but it was this thing of I'm 36,
Mm-hmm.
and like the newer generation now is calling us like aunties, calling us aunties.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And and I'm just like, yes, I'm an auntie, true enough. I have three nieces, but it's that thing of because we're saying the new generation is
Mm-hmm.
saying we're old, but I'm like, I
No.
never, I never had, I cracked my jokes when I was younger,
Uh-huh.
but I never like was like really disrespectful and calling my elders old, you know,
Right.
that type of thing.
It is a different generation, baby. It's a very
Yeah,
different.
that.
It's a difference than what you, my daughter, because she's 35, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean each generation it's become very much different. So when you're saying you're now called auntie, well,
Oh yeah.
what am I called?
I don't know because I never really, I crack my jokes, but it's
Yeah,
all out of fun
I
and
don't
joke.
know what I'm called. I mean, I'm on TikTok quite regularly now,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I see where the aunties are now, so I'm like, and it's your age group, and I'm like, well, what am I called then? I don't. Where do I fit in the gap?
I'm gonna ask you. Then this is the second part.
Okay.
Do you? Okay, because a lot of older, because this came from, I think it was some celebrities,
Uh huh.
and they didn't like being called auntie,
Uh huh.
and a lot of older women that I know, they don't mind it. They
Hmm.
don't. They don't care. They love it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? If somebody were to walk, not just anybody, but just somebody were to walk, even somebody you met in passing, because I do that sometimes.
You,
And
you know, I'm keeping up with the time. I'm trying to be relevant because all my life of being a mom, I taught my baby street Bible and education because I
hmm
didn't want her to be lost in none of the three. You gonna learn that a little boy ain't gonna ask you for a vagina. He gonna ask you for straight up. He gonna, we gonna talk about the Bible, how waiting until you get married and doing all the things before you have sex. So I didn't want her to be lost in the loop of not knowing. So when we're talking about TikTok and where it is today, and These little young babies, 23, 24, we can be somebody, hey, little mama, even calling me that because they
Mhm.
think of me and my daughter are sisters, you know. But me being
Mhm.
called auntie, it's an endearment, I guess, that the younger generation are saying. As long as they don't call me nothing else, auntie is
Mhm.
fine. Yeah.
Mhm. Because a lot of women would literally be like, "Don't call me auntie," and I'm just like, "Okay,
I take
sorry."
it. I take it as endearment, because you
Mhm.
could be calling something worse, and I just look at it that somebody feel comfortable enough with you to now start
Mhm.
calling you auntie because they see something in you that maybe they don't even feel comfortable calling their own auntie. You see what I'm saying? So I don't
Mhm.
think all the time it's coming from a disrespectful place. I just think you have to be up with the times now. And then because the way this world is, something as small as that, I don't see it as being disrespectful. That hey auntie may be the very thing to save a child or someone under me from jumping over the bridge. You know what I'm saying? So if I go off
Mhm.
on them like, hey, don't be calling me that. No, because you don't know the headspace a person is in, right? So
Mhm.
I don't let things like that trigger me. So I'm up with the times to understand what the street, what the Bible, what education looks like. So I can decipher, you know, how to carry out my life and be a blessing to other people, even if others feel like they not where they supposed to be in life. You know how we get that? Oh, I
Mhm.
done got a degree, so guess what? I won't associate myself with that. No,
Mhm.
you be the vessel that God has blessed you to be in. And if you see someone that's willing to want to now become a better self, then you take that brother or sister by the hand and say, you know what, baby? You can call me auntie, but now when we get in this room, it's Mr.
Mhm.
and Mrs. You know what I'm saying? You show a person the way. But attacking them like that, you may be the last very thing they have conversations with and now feel embarrassed about it. And then you don't know what their mind space is. And then you'll be reading about them on the news. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be very
Mhm.
particular. You have to be very particular.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Cause some people, I'm not your like you said, I'm not your auntie. Some people, that's all. Some people, that's all somebody need.
Yeah, an auntie, right?
hmm So, who is Miss Michelle D. Saxton?
I am a 57-year-old who started her career in finding herself around her 40s.
hmm
40s. I was the only child in my household for 14 years. And it was all about Michelle because I was the only child and I didn't care about nothing. I never did want any kids, but when I became pregnant with my daughter, who's now 35, Bianca, that's the best thing since sliced bread. Any other thing, that's just the best thing
hmm
since sliced bread. I am now fiance of Mr. Sorrells, Andre Sorrells. The business.
Congratulations.
I'm the business owner of Mia Savvy Courier Service. As you mentioned, I have a talk show, the Now What Show with Mia. I started a grief support system or a platform after the loss of my dad in 2000, my mom in 2002, my husband killed in a car accident Thanksgiving
hmm
2004. So every 2 years, my heavy hitters was taken away from me, and I walked around being mad at God for 4 years, right? And I just knew at the time when my husband passed away, my daughter was then 13. I did not want my daughter to continue seeing her mom operate in the manner I was, walking in, which meant for me, I didn't know at the time, walking in grief, anxiety, and depression. That's what I ended up being
Mhm.
diagnosed, right? But I knew I had to change because this wasn't my upbringing.
Mhm.
We had families in the people in the family have lost things, but they lift their head up and went on with it. So I went and got help, used the resources that the therapist told me, went back to school on the cum laude, and then I just said, I don't seem to be getting no job in business and where I done racked up all this
Mhm.
financial aid. So I said, I need to start my own business. So
Mhm.
I dispatched for the police department, and all my jobs consisted of customer service, and I love being around people. So it was an inconvenient time for me one day at work where I had to be at two places at one time, and I came home to my daughter and was telling her how inconvenienced that day was, having to use my PTO, had to wonder about how I had to get there. And I just mentioned to her, I wonder how many other people are being inconvenienced. Okay, you have all the courier services in the world, but I'm talking about somebody who's gonna go and stand in line for you to pay your bill. Somebody may have to have somebody waiting for an electric person to come out to start their meters or whatever that look like. You may need your red bottoms picked up at the Galleria. We do that. And also we do local delivery. We also take people to their doctor's appointments if the patients folk are not able to come. Their older generations will go in with a signed HIPAA. We'll stay there. We'll give them a snack according to their diet. We'll write what the doctors say,
Mhm.
bring it back to their loved ones, and verbatim tell them, hey, they no longer on this blood pressure. They on this one now, and the doctor wanna. So we on layman's terms because a lot of times the summary that they give, they still over our head, right?
Mhm.
And not understanding, okay, what did they mean by this? So we're kind of the third party that's sitting there writing layman's terms what has now happened and occurred. So doing that, and when I did my grief platform, that was just people who looked and knew what grief was. Me and you can be talking and I could be laughing, and in the same laughter, I can drop a tear. So I wanted my
Mhm.
foundation, my platform to know what that looked like instead of somebody saying, girl, you should be over that by now.
Mhm.
Because you have some people don't know about grief etiquette. There's an etiquette to grief, and that's one of the things you definitely don't want to be telling nobody. Girl, you should be over that by now.
Mhm.
So I said, if I was ever in a position to form a group, that would be one. I don't care if I don't form nothing else. It would be that one, something that a person can come to after being the mama, the daughter, and all the things, not having time for herself, who just need to have a sense of purpose, and somebody understand if she's laughing in 1 minute and dropping a tear in the same minute,
Mhm.
nobody would judge her, and all her business would be under the 59 bridge somewhere. So
Mhm.
that was that. And then I started thinking about, okay, now that people know about the grief support and where that all stemmed from me, people have taken their pain and turned it into gain. I mean, meaning
Mhm.
I took the resources that knocked me down on my feet, wild out, did some craziness, and found what God purpose was for me and start using that. My purpose was to love and uplift, encourage, and inspire people. So I said, okay, because of my downfall, I want to now hear from those people who were working in bondage at some time. Now they have their own products, they doing their
Mhm.
own thing. They may even have
Mhm.
their own talk shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now I want to hear from tragedy to triumph, what that looks like
Mhm.
in your life. So that's where the Now What show with Mia came from.
That
It's
that's
the
that's
it's the
good.
spin off
Mhm.
from the grief to now what. And even if you
Okay.
still in your grieving process, now what? What are you gonna
Mhm.
do? How you gonna gravitate from those things? Use what you gone through. Take what you lost
Mhm.
What are you gonna do now? Now what? What you gonna do with that?
What's the next step?
Yeah, now what?
Yeah, I definitely agree because I I know for I think we talked about it a bit,
Yeah.
but losing my grandfather, even though I knew, you kind of I knew I talked it on a previous episode. One of my episodes, grieving ain't easy, and
It's not. Grieving can have you doing some ratchet things if you don't get the
mm,
help.
mm,
Grieving can make you do some ratchet things if you don't
mm-hmm.
get the help. So that's why it's
I've
very
been,
important.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I think it was. I'm still grieving a little bit, but I knew because when I seen him, he just had that look on his face, like
Hmm.
I'm tired. So that for me, I knew, so it was still hard, but it wasn't as hard
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
as now. But I know in the beginning it was like super hard because that was my dad. My papa practically raised me,
yeah,
and it was definitely difficult, and I got through it. But like you said, it definitely will have you like I doing some ratchet thing. I was heavily into like alcohol and smoking,
yeah.
and I just trying to basically just numb the pain. The one man that you know that was actually there and would actually like listen to me gone, you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm. Hmm.
that actually gone. Sometimes it do be hard, even though now I still, I can still hear his voice. He wore Old Spice and Brute, and I
Hmm.
can like literally like smell
Smell
it.
it right now, and it's not even around you, right?
It's not even around you. And then he had heavy feet, and I would hear heavy footsteps, and there's nobody's at home, and the neighbors be gone. So I know it's not the neighbors. And at first I would just be like tripping about it, then I was like, okay. And then even with music, it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So what I tell people, if they're still grieving or whatever, listen, it's no time limit when you're supposed to
Mhm.
say, "Oh, I'm over it." The thing of the matter is, you're wanting a person to get to a place where they can handle it correctly, right? You want the person to be able to identify that it is grief, because there was times that I didn't even want to get out the bed and brush my teeth. It had to take four of my sisters come and knock on my door after
Mhm.
losing a car, after losing a house, and I'm working every day at the police department, right? Don't
Mhm.
give a damn if I should say that. Because
Mhm.
I'm like, if I was doing all the Christian walk, going to church, paying my tithes, being nice and kind to folk, you done took every single person that mattered to me away.
Mhm.
So I was mad as hell at God for a long time, because I'm feeling like you supposed to be the protector of me. You are not supposed to bring harm or danger to me. You are supposed to be protecting me at all costs, right? So when
Mhm.
you're in that space, you're not quite understanding and even knowing how to put a diagnosis on something. But that's what I'm talking about, people having etiquette for that, because a lot of times people just showing you where, oh, she just tripping. It took four of my sisters to come knock on my door and say, listen, you working every day, you done lost this, you done lost that. How can we be of service? Not to down me or anything. They wanted to know, what do we need to know, or how, what do we need to go to class with you, or what is it we need to do in order for you to pull yourself together.
Mhm.
So I think when you're having someone who cares, not there to judge you, not saying, girl, you should be over it by now,
Mhm.
you will find your way of understanding and getting back to yourself. Not saying that you're gonna totally forget your loved ones, no.
Mhm.
And people need to understand. grief doesn't come from losing people. It could be losing your house, losing a job, losing
Mhm.
the things. Men walk around all day because somebody told them they supposed to be the strongest link in the house. They supposed to
Mhm.
carry the family. They supposed to be the breadwinner. Now let one thing happen to them, to their job, where now they got back on their feet and they feel good about themselves. I can carry my family. I can do all of this. And now, boom, the job is taken away from them because they have that pressure of society and the
Mhm.
understandings that they justify or don't justify reading out the Bible or comprehend what that says. Now it's pressure, and then this is where all the mental health starts, right? This is where
Mhm.
all the mental health. So it's very good if you can get to a place and surround yourself with people that understand what that looks like, because when you're in rooms where people don't understand that,
Mhm.
you are going to be stuck in that area. You're going to find some more resentment to resent a situation, and it's just not going to be helpful for you. So yeah, I would say always surround yourself with positive, and if it's something that you can't shake, go and lay on somebody's couches. Definitely find taking prescription
Mhm.
the way it's supposed to be taken, not topping it off with do say and none of that. No,
Yeah.
you taking the medicine
Mhm.
actually how it's supposed to be taken. You'll live a balanced life. You can
Mhm.
begin to live a balanced life. Yeah.
And to go to piggyback off of what you said about the medication, a lot
Hmm.
of people don't. A lot of people don't want to take, like,
Yeah.
people be stuck in. Ain't nothing wrong with me, but you just, you're grieving, and like
Right.
you said, it doesn't grieving not necessarily means you're grieving a person.
Right.
A person's death.
Uh-huh. Right, right. So yeah, so anything that takes you out your comfort zone, out the box of something, you're gonna have to first have a made up mind that you want to change the situation. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You're gonna have to arrive to that point of your life saying, I'm tired. I have nothing else to give. Nothing that I've been doing for myself is working. I want betterment. I see that it doesn't just affect me. I'm seeing that it affects all the people around me. So when a person want to change, we can tell them all day, baby, you need to go to AAA. But if it's not in them to do it, if they don't have a made up mind, we're gonna be
Mhm.
singing this song a long time. So in order for the person to take the medication, we've been so used to hearing our great grandparents, our mamas and daddies who were stuck back in time, and now we know better. What goes on in this house, stay in this house. Anybody that taking medicine, that's just people that's got some special need problem. No, the medicine is there to help you balance you out. Not want to get with you. You say one wrong word to me. It
Mhm.
if it's taken correctly, you can live a productive life, and you can begin to be on talk shows and explain to the next person why they need to be taken.
Let's yeah, it's amazing because I talked to when I interviewed Miss Rebecca.
Uh-huh.
I told her I told her, I was like, it's crazy how we're two different generations
Hmm.
and we're hearing the same thing, because it was what goes in his house stays in his house.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I had told her that, and I was like, that's crazy. Like, at what point? And it's like you're not telling nobody's business, but at the same time, it's like
Well,
something, that cycle, that pattern has to be, you know, broken.
that was kind of being a way of being true and loyal to your family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be some things that wasn't said on those terms, but we remember what our parents said. Michelle, if it's raining outside, you need your boots and your umbrella. So
Mm-hmm.
you just think from now on, when it rains, I'm gonna need my boots and my umbrella. So it's some things that we may very well hear our parents and grandparents say that sticks with us, and we want to operate it now in being loyal to our family, which in turns, after going through our own circumstances and our own life and situations and seeing that what worked for them may very well not work for me, uh that's what we are to do now. We are to take a little bit from the old, grab a little bit from the middle, and gravitate to where we are now, trying to go. Put those things together, mesh them, and now become your better self and what works better for you. Because your formula is not going to be the same as mine, right?
Right.
So what work for you may not work for me, but you are doing the work. You got to do the work. Nobody ain't gonna come and say, "Hey, guess
Yeah.
what? You was tripping last week, and I just want." No, you got to put in the work, whatever that looks like. If it's going doing volunteer work or something, that's showing you how to first be disciplined and show up. Second, that's telling you how to take instructions from somebody, because a lot of times we don't want to learn nothing. We just want to
Ooh,
tell
say that
somebody
again.
how to say do something, right? So
Mm-mm.
it would teach you all these things. So no matter what the outcome is, in the middle of getting there, from the beginning, your dash and your end, you have to put in the work in the middle, right? So that's what that looks like.
Mm. I like I said, I definitely agree. Cause
Hmm.
even the therapist gonna make if you have a good therapist, they gonna make you do the
Oh, they're gonna make you do the work. Or they're gonna say, listen, I like your money, but you really wasted my time. And I can respect that all day.
work.
Because if you coming in talking about the same thing you was talking about when you first came here, and it's 3 months down the line, you ain't did nothing. You're not trying to change. So guess what? I can
Hmm.
take your money. But if you're that person that's really want to sincerely help somebody, you'll lay it out on the line and say, you know what? You wasted my time. Come back when you're ready. And
Hmm.
that's just me. That's just me.
Hmm. I know
Mm.
definitely when I first started in therapy, ooh, she read me to filth in
Yeah,
a good way.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
you
Sometimes
think you
somebody
think
got
you
to.
have healed, and you just like
No,
you be looking. I was looking like, what have I got myself into?
yeah. A lot of times, like my mama used to say, you want to pussyfoot around. We ain't trying to pussyfoot around. Guess what? Because I have people who really want to heal
Hmm.
that can be here. So yeah, you have anything that you're doing in life, whether it's healing from grief, anxiety, and depression, whether it's wanting a new job, whether it's wanting a new boo, whatever that looks like, baby, you got to put in the work. You have to put in the work. You have
Okay,
to
so
first start
oh,
acting like what you want to be.
you got
Yeah,
to, because
yeah.
I heavily believe this country accent. I heavily believe that when you start being what you want to be, it'll come to you.
It'll come to
But you
you.
got to you got to do the work, like you said. And like I always believe, faith without works is dead. You can't just have faith
Absolutely.
without doing without
That's
putting
just
in the
not a
work.
scripture. That's just not a scripture. That's just not a scripture. That's a fact. That is
You
a
got
fact.
to, because people
Hmm.
will pray and pray and pray, but don't want
Hmm.
it, but won't put in the work.
And it ain't the PRAY, it's PREY. They will pray on you, see that you are not there yet, and they will try to wheel you in, saying, "Girl, I can have you to do this. You don't even need that. You don't even need that." They what they're telling you you need to do. Get no, because they
Hmm.
see that you're wanting something, but not aggressive enough to know how to start doing it. So you have to be careful when people are trying to
Hmm.
bring new things into your life. But you won't know that until you now know who you are and whose you are, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, to go back to what you're talking about, the carrier service. When I saw you was posting about it, I said, "This is a great idea. You ain't got to go to Uber. You know, it's
Right.
you ain't gotta ask for Uber. What has that experience been like? Because I think that is like the most brilliant idea.
Well, so Uber, now I'm not taking nothing from Uber
Mm-hmm.
because Uber is an amazing something. But I didn't want to just be the person that's picking you up and
Mm-hmm.
dropping you off. My audience is for all, but my audience is really for the elderly people, meaning their families are out working, trying to survive, especially in this economy. There may
Mm-hmm.
be some things that they just can't get to their families and do. They may be in uh homes or something, nursing homes. So we'll even do that. If you saying I need an hour a week that you just go and read a book to my mom or just show your face and let, we do that as well. So our courier is just not delivering flowers and candy. Our service is getting a rapport of knowing our clients and being aware if they even left what they normally do off of their request this time. You want to get to a point and say, Miss Johnson, normally after Kroger, we'll stop by and get some Popeyes chicken. You didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your stop is this time. You want to know your audience. So very well, Uber does all the things, but with us, we want to know the rapport of you. We want to know the what matters to you. We want to know if there was something that wasn't on this order this time. We're reminded of what you historically do and ask you, you know what you didn't do this time, is this how you really want it? So that's who we are. We and showing empathy out in the field. A lot of times, I don't think you're gonna get that from Uber because Uber's just trying to get to the next spot. When we're delivering and going and do things for the elderly, especially taking them to the doctor's office, we not trying to get no trips in between because guess what? That's your time. That's the time you done set up for, and we gonna wait for you on that time. So, but money means a lot, and you could probably make two or more, three trips because of the doctor's appointment. Sometimes the doctors run behind, but that's not what
Mm-hmm.
we're here to do. We're here to service you in that time, in that space, and based upon your diet, we'll have a little snack because it's been too many times I worked in my 9 to 5 as a check-in person with the a doctor's office where we see transportation providers just dropping the patient off. It's 3 and 4 hours. Sometimes we even had to walk to the CVS or next door to get something
Mm-hmm.
to even bring back for the client to have because they just been there that long. So we make sure we have a little snack of water, juice, whatever that looks like. So in the event that the office visit is taking a little long, at least they'll have a little peanut or whatever they're not allergic to, whatever won't blow up their blood pressure, ready for them. And then we bring them back. And like I said, if you need more of a profound or down to earth or a more sensible understanding what the doctor's visit are
Mm-hmm.
happen in the visit, you sign a form and we'll just write notes. We are able to go in the room with the patient and you're given permission for us to write down what the doctor actually said, like me and you talking country, and put it on paper and relay it back to the family. And like I said, that's our concierge. That's one of our concierge services. And again, you can always have your things delivered to your home. But for us, again, we want to knock on your door. We want a responsible 18-year older sign off on your stuff. Hey, that listen, I she dropped her stuff off. We dropped so we get these couriers or whatever and drop it off at the door or whatever, and by the time you get home somebody else done took your package if you don't have that ring dough thing dinging in your ear saying somebody at
Mm-hmm.
my door. So it's for us to have somebody 18 years or older. I know that may be an inconvenience for somebody, but that's how we operate to make sure you get your well-earned money that you ordered
Yeah,
delivered.
I definitely agree. That's why I say like I said, when I seen you posting it, I was in awe. But now that you're actually explaining it, it
Hmm.
actually makes sense because you also have those elderly who don't have nobody to at all. Period. They just at home by themselves,
Right. Right.
and
Absolutely.
that's like a great way to serve the community.
It is. It is. And we get a joy out of that because guess what? Sometimes you are the only person that they even have a conversation with. You know about their grandchildren. You know what the baby. I had a little old sandwich, but I'm hungry. Can you run and get me this? And you just like, where are these people, families at? But
Mhm.
guess what? We don't worry about that. We just do what we can do. That's in legalities to do to help the
Mhm.
next person out to make their inconvenience a convenience, right? So
Mhm.
that's what we do.
Okay, so as we are coming to an end, this segment is called "I Don't Know Who Needs to Hear This," which is a quote, advice. Because I know, as Mika would say, I know you're gonna keep it funky.
I'm gonna keep it funky. she,
You know,
she
give
said I'm proper funky. I'm gonna keep it funky. 100, right?
like she said, keep it funky. I know you will. This segment is I don't know who needs to hear this. This is basically giving a quote or advice to anybody, just on any subject, on anything.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but stop wanting microwavable results.
Come on now.
I'm gonna say it again. I don't know who need this to hear this, but stop wanting microwavable results. And when I'm saying that, I'm speaking from experience because historically in my life, when I saw things going disarray,
Mhm.
I would try my own understanding of doing things, trying to fix it, and it messes up even worse. So when I'm telling you stop wanting microwavable results, I mean stop wanting the fast right now stuff. Anything worth having, we've heard, it takes time. Whether it's in business, your career, your job at work, whatever, people getting on your nerves, you just sit. It's in the wait. It's
Yes.
in the wait, right?
Mhm.
So for those who don't have patience, I want you to activate it as of now. I want you to activate your patience right now. Because for me, and again, I'm going back on me, I wanted all the things. I want all the millions. I want, guess what? You have to crawl before you walk. What may work for somebody else, it very well may not work for you. You don't even know how they doing. They probably finna get 20 to 30 to life because they operating out
Hmm.
of.
Yeah.
So you do your research. You do it in order and decent, and you sit in that thing and wait. Form your relationship with God so you'll know that it's him that's talking to you because the devil make things sound and look good too. So you want to operate with discernment. You want to know that the relationship you have with God, he's saying go. And when he tell you to go, don't be saying, oh, but I asked you for that, but I'm not ready for that. No, you asked him for it. So at any time it can be given to you, but you have to be ready to walk in the thing. But again, stop operating in microwavable wants. Just sit, be patient, and know that if God done brought you from some mess before, he gonna definitely do it again. But you have to walk in decent and order and be obedient, and you have to sit in that thing and wait until the doors open where he feels as if now you can handle it.
Ooh, sheesh. Pass the collection plate, y'all. I want to say thank you so much for coming.
I thank you, baby, for even inviting me. Thank
I
you.
told you it's been in the works. It's like I gotta get. But as I always say, spread love, peace,
Yes.
and joy because there's enough negativity. Catch me next Sunday because y'all, I forgot Mother's Day was this weekend. So there
Yes.
will be no show tomorrow, but catch me next Sunday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time
Yes.
and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will
Well, I
catch you
thank
later.
you again so much, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
very proud of you. Just keep going,
Thank
keep
you.
activating, keep doing all the things, keep the noise out your ear.
I definitely will. Thank you so much.
All
And
right,
we are
baby. Take
out
care.
of here. All right.
Thank you. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Bye bye.